3. Only loses to Snake Eyes. Not going to be Snake Eyes. It's an 8 from Dinh, and it looks like he is probably going to
go second.
I had to stop myself.
Stand by main.
Sure.
Yep, he does choose to go second. Let's see what Michael does. Set 1. Usually think, oh no, that's not good, but not an Unchained.
And there's, okay, starting with the Shavara here on the Chamber. Chamber's going to be able to trigger its effect here when it's destroyed while it's set on the field, able to special summon a Unchained monster from the deck. Or hand. No, only from deck.
Yep.
The traps are only from deck. Monsters can also be used from hand.
Definitely, and it looks like he does summon Shyama.
Gonna go straight into Yama here.
Links both those away to the graveyard. Summon Yama. So Shyama, Shavara is gonna set a trap from the deck.
Or Wailing, like just
or Wailing, yeah, Wailing. A Speller trap, an Unchained Speller trap. And then Yama's gonna be able to add Unchained monster from the graveyard or deck to the hand.
Probably from deck at this point, because you already did have to use Shavara. Having to use Shavara early on makes it a little bit harder to play around certain things, because you do want to attempt to hold Shavara in your hand as long as possible, just to like maintain your resources, play around something like Nibiru or Infinite Permanence.
Yeah, definitely.
But at this point, I just don't think, I wonder how much knowledge he has on Ding strategy, because that's the one thing when you become known for certain thing, you just end up being so famous for it that everyone knows how to play around it if you're paying attention.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, he did play this deck recently in Vancouver where he was choosing to go second, and if he won the die roll and chose to go second, it wouldn't be like hard to determine that maybe he is on that same strategy. Do you think there's any other decks in the format that would choose to go second? I feel like Sprite's like the main one.
Maybe some form of Kashtira, but I like some adventure deck, maybe some Horus OTK, like Horus Danger OTK.
Something crazy.
Yeah. I mean, we're in a point where everything's pretty brand new, right?
Yep, anything can happen. So he's going to link away into Soul of Rage.
Where did the monsters go?
Do I know something in your hand?
And he summoned a Sarama while we were discussing things. It looks like he used the escape.
Like, I'm just wondering where the Yama went.
Target chamber to set.
Yeah, it should be in the graveyard, right?
Did he put it back in the extra deck by accident? Yeah.
Yeah. He's checking the ground. He's like, where is my Yama? He might have actually put it back in the extra deck.
My bad.
It went somewhere.
So effective
Yes.
start tab.
Yes.
And then the Shyama went to the bottom of the deck. That one makes sense.
Yep. And did he use Sarama to destroy Soul of Rage, and then use the effect of Soul of Rage in the graveyard to add back Shyama?
All right. Where do we go from here?
Sorry.
There's a lot of things you can do to try to conserve resources in this deck, especially, I think, because he's very aware that his opponent is on a going second strategy. He's trying to conserve as much as he can. But I still think you try to make Caesar. Caesar gives you all the follow-up in the world, getting you that Dark Contract to your hand after the fact, being able to reset off the Shavara. It's really the go-to of why Unchained is so strong when it's able to get that far. If you're able to survive until the following turn, that's really all you need.
He's going to banish 6 with Pot of Prosperity here after thinning his deck out of the cards, probably looking for some non-engine targets. I do love those Master Duel sleeves that Dinh has there, the white ones. Those are beautiful.
I have actually yet to see those in person, but they are super sick. Okay, so Tour Guide has not normal summoned yet. Actually, I think, did he add Sarama and normal summon it? I can't even remember anymore.
I think so.
Yeah, that does make sense with that play.
So he could look for the Ash, the Effect Veiler here.
Yeah.
Looks like, I think that's a prison in there.
Go ahead and add the Aruha, maybe trying to continue the play here a little bit. It does look like there's a second copy of Prosperity in his hand. Maybe he just wants to commit a little bit more to the field.
That's the theme of the weekend, drawing multiple copies of Pot of Prosperity.
Yes.
Yep, okay, so there is a Sarama effect, maybe getting the Shyama back on the field here. And now if he just finds a way to get rid of the Aruha. Oh, okay, so he didn't...
Effect Aruha?
Yeah.
Okay, so he hasn't used that effect prior to use it on... Yeah, because it makes sense. The Sarama was still on the field. Able to make Caesar this way. Perfect.
Finds a way to get to 2 level 6s.
Yeah, so there is Caesar there, and there is the set chamber.
Caesar's going to be able to negate the special summon of a card effect that special summons a monster.
Right, so with Gigantic and Starter, just going to... Oh, and then... Okay, so we have a normal summon. We get to normal summon the Rakea, which allows us to play around potentially any kind of like tactics card. Just make sure Caesar doesn't change control. That's the big thing here.
Yeah, that's very key to think about.
And this is another thing about what's actually like pretty strong in this deck. Normally you want to do this anyway of getting Rage off the field just to add back some resources. But the big thing is you're setting up Chamber. So as long as Rage is on the field, if they don't bait out Chamber in any way, you get to immediately, when you want to do this, because you're going to activate Chamber, summon back the Rage, and then immediately use Rage's effect targeting a monster. And before, it's like, okay, that's usually a 1-for-1 interaction. You're probably summoning either Anguish or Unicorn, having to discard a card to go after another card on the field. But now you just go straight into Little Knight. So it's a card already off their field from the Rage, and then banishing another card immediately from the Little Knight, and then you still get one more interruption. It's a much bigger swing than ever was before, and that might be what pulls Unchained into one of the best decks still in this format.
Yeah, when people talk about Unchained, saying they didn't get too much from Age of Overlord, but just SP Little Knight, but just that SP Little Knight is huge, and can really reflect it in the game with the amount of disruptions it allows. Just giving you a little more when you don't have to invest any more cards into that initial combo. But he's going to go into the battle phase, activate evenly matched. Let's see how Michael decides to deal with this. Looks like he's going to chain the effect to destroy his trap. So he's going to be able to special summon a monster afterwards and keeping that Caesar on the field.
Opting to keep the Caesar, at least in this instance, where, okay, yeah, because the Yama will bring back the Rage anyway.
Lord Yama brings back the Soul of Rage.
Does he choose to use the effective Chamber? Doesn't seem like he will.
And he has another evenly matched. He's going to use that still in the end of the battle phase. I've seen that with like Baron and cards that can negate evenly, but just has another one. So he's to pick between Caesar and Soul of Rage. I'm thinking you keep the Soul of Rage here. I feel like it gives you a little bit more, just because going into SP Little Knight has a little more of extension, but we'll have to see.
I think
the Caesar's also really strong. He still doesn't know what he's playing against, but if he's been paying attention, he might be able to figure it out.
So yeah, he's opting to get rid of the Caesar to keep the Rage, because Rage does technically do more. But I think if he did know he's playing against Spright, I think the biggest thing you're trying to play around is maybe a Tactics or a Thrust, which doesn't really... he can thrust into anything he wants at this point because monster effects have been activated, but Tactics is still not live because this is all activated in the battle phase.
True.
If Dinh has any way to take the Tactics, or sorry, take the Caesar, he's not really able to do anything with it. He's forced to link away with it, which is going to give him all the value anyway. Doesn't really matter. If he's able to take the Rage, he is at least able to like put it's already a level 2 on the field, or like A2 on the field, right? So it might be a little bit more threatening, but I guess at this point, there's no way to turn on Talents without committing cards onto the field, which will just give Rage all the value, and the SP will be able to tag out in any of those positions anyway, so maybe that's just good enough.
And he does have Starter here. It's a great way to get things going.
And there is an Ash.
That explains why he didn't add off the Pot of Prosperity.
Sure.
Now, what does he have? That's already 3 cards out of the hand.
But now he can Tactics. Yeah, this is... I don't think it was worth it to stop the Starter, honestly.
Talent, sorry.
Triple Tactics something.
Talent.
Gonna take some really... That breaks the whole board, essentially. The Trap won't be able to destroy anything. The Soul of Rage won't be able to link anything away.
Yeah,
looks like he's thinking about chaining the Trap to destroy the Soul of Rage to destroy the Triple Tactics talent.
I'll change Shavara.
Yeah, okay.
Or Shavara.
That works out pretty well.
Yes.
Taking a moment to consider what he wants to destroy. If he destroys the trap, he gets to summon a monster. Yep, it does look like he is going for destroying the escape.
Interesting.
What would you like to take? On summon?
Sure.
Effective escape?
Now, does he play Dark? Yeah, he has some Dark Link monsters in his extra deck. He might be able to use the Soul Rage to go to.
What? He can't use it until it's opponent's turn.
Oh,
so,
yeah, during the opponent's turn. You're right. Anguish is the one during your turn.
Yeah, a little too strong here. But yeah, he's opting to just get rid of the Rage immediately, so keep him off level 2s, force him to have something along the lines of Nimble Beaver to play at this point.
I'll target...
Yep, summons that abominable Unchained Soul.
Rage probably add back Rama. Yeah, okay, I like this. Yes. All these plays make sense.
Yeah, Michael playing really well here with the Unchained deck. We were talking about his deck beforehand, how it looks really optimal and well built. So, seeing him play well with it isn't a surprise here for us.
I continue. Normal summon?
Yep.
All right.
Does he have blue? Normal
Blue or
summon?
jet?
It's
Oh,
blue!
blue.
The last card in the hand. Dinh using every card in his hand to try and bounce back in this game, but Spright, you just need 1 spark to start your entire combination.
When he gets special, right?
But here's the thing. You don't have a battle phase anymore.
It's tough.
What are you going to do?
We're going to find out.
Yeah, like how much stops can you really
SP Little Knight, I think, will help out a little bit.
Yeah, I think might actually have to, because he's going to need to banish the Shavara at the very minimum.
Starter. That's starter.
So he added Spright, starter. Just going to go into Sprint. Sprint going to send down Nimble Angler. I'm loving this. I love Nimble Angler, one of my favorite cards. When Angler's sent to the graveyard, he'll be able to summon 2 Nimble monsters from the deck. He's going to summon 2 copies of Nimble Beaver.
2 beavers. Thinking.
Now, does he go into Gigantic Spright? So starter, he's looking to summon either another copy of red or carrot probably during the opponent's turn.
Yeah, like
that should be pretty useful. So he is going to overlay for Gigantic Spright here.
Gigantic effect.
Let's see what level 2 he goes. It could just be the red. Yeah, maybe starter's just the only one to get in this situation for him. Does he not play? Oh, he probably doesn't play double cross and stuff like that because he's choosing to go second. That makes a lot of sense.
It's an interesting choice with evenly matched, right? I mean, you do want to have the maximum amount of board breakers if you're choosing second. You need to be able to guarantee that you get to play off. But when your entire strategy is built around ending the game as quickly as possible, giving your opponent another turn, especially a deck like Unchained that has so many resources going for it, can be very detrimental. There's still a Shyama in the grave that's going to be a way to immediately start triggering effects.
With Gigantic and Beaver effect.
Yep, you're going to have to banish the Shrivara here, just to like really limit as much follow-up as possible from Michael.
Finally, we see SP Little Knight coming down. We're going to see it a lot this weekend. And since he used an Xyz monster to make it, he's able to banish a card from the field or graveyard.
Can't attack directly this turn. Oh, well.
Luckily for Dinh, not an issue.
Yes. I know.
That chip sailed 2 evenly matches ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so he has red, carrot, SP, facing down the giant abominable Unchained Soul.
I can cut the damage.
SP Little Knight, one of the coolest cards out of Age of Overlord. You can pretty much throw it in any deck and it'll improve your deck greatly. It's such a cool card.
Yep, it looks like it's going to be an immediate pass back from Dinh. At this point, he's going to just start loading up the field here, maybe just getting a jet for more follow-up. No, probably this
blue?
Yeah, just blue, right?
Oh, did I
because both starters are gone at this point.
I was actually. So I'm now at 6-9. Effect blue. Search Pixies.
Oh, that makes sense.
He plays Great Pixies.
It's German.
So that's why the Spright starter works.
Level 2, link 2. Oh, yeah, sure.
So it lets you boost one of your monsters up. It's kind of like an Honest for Spright.
Not going to be able to just go directly into battle phase attack over the Little Knight here. He's going to have to play into it at least a little bit.
Yep, boost up link 2s as well. They just gained that other monster's attack, I believe. Pixies definitely wasn't seen played now, but I mean, Dinh has a whole other take on the Spright deck than most of the Spright decks we've seen leading into this tournament.
Yeah, often considered a bit more of a win more card, but like very, very important in fields like this. Just being able to get the damage in over very large monsters as well. Man, I really wish Michael just kept the Caesar because the Dark Contract would have made all the difference here. Not because that was the big thing. If you're going to play into the attack, or if you just at least didn't Ash the starter, then you don't have to play in the tactics and you just get the Little Knight value of being able to banish all the monsters on the field. The big issue there, if you're going to allow the Rage to be taken by tactics, you're forced to interact with it immediately, and that's the position you didn't want to be in. And that's why we see him in this position right now. If he at least kept the Caesar, then he could have used Shrivara, just destroy his own Caesar, and then still gotten all the follow-up and not have to, he didn't have to lose the trap card.
That makes a lot of sense. So it looks like he is going to normal summon the Sarama. Looking what trap he has from his graveyard. Sarama can destroy a card he controls to set a trap back from the graveyard.
I think you just read this. Like, there's no real reason to let that stay.
Target Arua. He has red and Little Knight.
Yeah, so he's going to use Little Knight to... Yeah, this makes sense. You just banish the Sarama because the Abomination is not going to do anything. And then when Sarama resolves, and likely going to be setting the Aruha, destroying the Aruha, then you can negate the effect of the Aruha with the red after the fact. And just puts him on essentially nothing.
Just whatever that one draw is.
Yeah, it has to be Shrivara, right? Which I don't even think...
He might have one left.
I think he does have one left in his deck.
And then red's going to destroy the blue. Oh, both players playing so well. I love this back and forth right now.
Thank you.
Sure. A lot of intent with every decision being made here. For sure.
There's no Yama in the graveyard anymore. No Shyama, or is there Shyama in there? Yeah, he still has Shyama in the
Yeah.
graveyard, so it looks like he might be looking for that.
Which is very important as to why he got rid of the Sarama here, like not able to keep those effects.
Yep, he's going to try and destroy the Abomination on the field to summon back Shyama from the graveyard.
Pretty important here because it does get to summon itself back during the end phase, try to clear off the space a little bit.
Oh yeah, I always forget about that effect.
Yeah,
that used to come up a lot in the old Unchained deck.
Again, like it's not like Dinka has so much going here.
Yes.
Like yeah, just gets to get rid of one, gets to get rid of the other, leaves him on. Or, he can't get rid of one actually. He's just forcing out the pixies from the hand. This is also really smart. We're just making sure he's going to have to sacrifice one of these cards, no matter what. He's going to take some damage here, but it doesn't really matter.
He does use the pixies. They boost the defense up as well.
Effect declaring the effect of pixies. I gain 2k. You lose whatever. It's so 1-9.
Yeah, essentially honest either side. Takes the 1900 from the defense here. And then in end phase, he's going to be able to summon back the Abomination, get rid of that last card in his hand, probably go after the red. Forces Dinh to top deck here.
Just needs to draw a level 2, but he did get all. He swapped it and left the Nimble Beaver in his deck, so he does have a third copy of Nimble Beaver there. And he has the SP Little Knight. You always forget Little Knight is so good.
But I mean, that still means Michael has a Sarama for what it's worth.
Who comes first?
Mandatory effects resolve first and then optional.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Abomination is mandatory. I don't think it is.
I don't think it would be, yeah.
Yes.
Interesting. So Michael's opting to use his effect first. Didn't necessarily have to.
Yeah.
No effect? Or?
On summon effect.
Oh, yeah, sure.
But this SP
Oh, it's Rhino.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's crazy.
I'll pop carrot.
Sure.
Just going to go for carrot.
That's like, Rhino might have been the absolute best card to have in his hand because as long as he has another copy of Escape in his deck,
That is crazy. I mean, Rhino or Shyama or Savara would have been perfect.
Because now, like, Escape, it's Chamber. Chamber's good too. You know, that's actually, it's fine.
You can summon back the Abomination, but he doesn't have a discard.
He has Rage Engrave.
Oh, he has Rage. You can just summon back the Rage. But then he has the SP Little Knight. What's going to happen? I'm excited.
Little Knight Wars, here we go. He has that Sarama back.
Chamber.
Like, Escape would have been better into that Little Knight, but Chamber still forces out a lot of interaction here.
Let's see what he draws.
That's a Jet.
That's a good one.
But he's out of starters. So,
out of starters.
So he might only have Gamma Burst and maybe Smashers if he plays it.
Gamma Burst isn't bad.
A little aside from Michael there. He's like, oh, come on.
Couldn't you just drawn a useless card?
To be fair, I don't know how many useless cards there are. It looks like just a Shifter at this point. I guess if we just drew the Gamma Burst, that would be ideal. But
I add...
Does add Spright Gamma Burst. Gamma Burst will boost up any level 2 or rank 2 or link 2 monster up by 1400 attack and defense, all of them, including the opponents if they happen to have any as well. Got to keep that in mind in the Spright Mirror match. He's going to overlay with the red and the Jet for...
Gigantic.
I would think it's Gigantic.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, this is going to force some interaction here.
Gigantic.
It's weird. Little Knight does win this interaction every time, unfortunately.
I feel like I say that a lot. Every time, like every interaction with SP Little Knight, I'm like, man, this card just comes out on top every time.
Well, it's just
Mirror J's the only one that's kind of tough with it, I feel like.
It's generally who gets to be on the later part of the chain that gets to win this.
It depends who turn player is a lot of the times.
When there's two Little Knights on the field, it's very relevant because Little Knight does have to banish both.
All right, so Soul of Rage coming back, as you said, it would. SP can deal with Soul of Rage.
You're good.
You have nothing to do here?
Chain target.
Chain Little Knight. So he's going to chain Soul Rage to try and link with Gigantic Spright. Dinh is going to chain SP Little Knight to banish the Soul Rage in itself to the end phase. So now he's free to resolve Gigantic Spright. Detaching that red, now he's going to special summon any level 2 monster from his deck to the field, and it's going to be blue.
And blue just has another Jet as a target, which, I mean, he's going to have to normal summon.
Since, he already special summoned it once, but still has that normal summon, so all good.
That's a very orange-looking Jet, but the lighting hit it in such a special way. But yeah, so now also important, the Sarama doesn't float anymore because there's not a level 2 in the deck that's going to be able to summon.
This one gets...
But will it be enough damage over all of this? I don't think so.
Yeah, he's going to put the Shaman at the bottom of the deck. He can maybe destroy the bottom.
He will get the Rage back. Eventually gets to go into Yama.
This is tough. He's not going to be able to Zeus or anything either, so he's going to have to find a different way to navigate this. Oh, maybe he's going to use Gamma Burst defensively and just leave it set.
Effect.
So Soul Sweeper's going to banish
The Shyama, which puts it directly back to the bottom of the deck because it left the field and it was summoned from the graveyard.
So real removal.
Yeah, actual removal, yeah.
Normally, yeah, the Soul Sweeper just takes rid of a monster away for a turn, but it's gone for good. Well, not for good. It'll be back later.
Yeah, opting to probably just leave the... If he's not going to use the Gamma Burst, then he's just going to leave the Abominable Soul on the field.
Just try and run through.
Yeah, he just needs to clear the Sarama at this point, and then the Rage will come back, but it puts him on...
He'll still have SP Little Knight, but...
Yeah, and then he'll have the Gamma Burst to protect it. So he's not going to be able to just go into battle phase and attack, and then go into Yama and do everything main phase 2. Oh, but it looks like he's just going to put him on trying to draw a card instead.
Gamma Burst, yeah. 3k, it's like 1-5.
Gains 1,400 attack, so the 1,600 gigantic Spright goes up to 3,000. Attacks over 1,500 attacks, so 1,500 points.
It's 300, so 4-3.
So a Soul Sweeper's like 1,900 plus 14.
Yeah, so 43. Takes another 13 there.
Yeah, main phase 2.
Or 33 rather.
Yeah.
Just
close enough.
Yeah.
Now SP Little Knight comes back along with that Soul of Rage, and now he's putting on Better Have It.
So if Michael draws any Fiend here, he's able to play. But the big thing is he does have to normal summon it, which makes the Yama not nearly as strong.
And I'm pretty sure he's out of Shavara's.
Well, Yama can add back from Grave.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
The big thing is he wanted to add back Sarama and normal summon it, but if he does have to commit a normal summon here, which like there's no way he doesn't.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Like even if you draw Aruha, we're not going to activate on the Rage here because then you don't want to play into the Little Knight. You have to normal summon at this point.
1,600?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, just attack. You absolutely attack.
Oh, yeah, the Gamma Burst is gone.
Yep.
Its effect in the graveyard is on only on your turn.
Yeah.
Because it's spell.
You can banish from the graveyard to boost up a monster by 4 turn. And he draws Tour Guide. You're talking about a Fiend.
That was a good one.
That's 2 Fiends. Oh, man. What a top deck.
What a crazy back and forth this game's been.
It's been a good one. This has been my favorite match of the YCS so far.
Not going to be able to go for Fiend Shrine of Warrior. You're going to have to summon an Aruha here or another Tour Guide. But I think that's fine for the most part, right?
Yep.
Summons Tour Guide.
So this is the big thing. He needs to be able to clear... I mean, okay, he's already cleared the Little Knight. It's about trying to clear the Gigantic and the Onibimaru here.
What's the time?
Because...
Looks like Dinh might be considered conceding.
Yep.
Effect to Yama?
Yep.
Yama gets to... I wonder what he's going to go for here.
Yep.
Because he has normal summoned. If he goes for the Shavara, destroy Rage, that gets to add back another Shavara. And then you can go link those two into another, or like into Anguish, link away with a Gigantic. That puts you on another Rage. And then you have Rage to interact with the Onibimaru.
Or you could just go into Abomination, right?
Yeah, but I think you just want to be able to summon your own Little Knight at this point.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Looks like they are checking a quick text update. Something about the Abominable Unchained Soul. Does it go to the bottom of the deck just like the other one?
Oh, if it was summoned from the graveyard?
Yeah, I feel like it might have something like that.
Maybe it banishes itself or something? I mean, it probably does go back to the bottom of the deck, because that seems to be the theme of the strategy, which is actually very useful for the strategy, because oftentimes, similar to Chimera, it runs out of monsters in the deck to put back, to like summon.
See, if this card's in the graveyard is destroyed on the field until this turn, you're supposed to win this card, but place it on the bottom of the deck when it leaves the field. I figured it had to be that effect, because that's like, yeah, the Unchained effect.
Right, I don't think that impacts anything else in this game, so should be fine.
Yeah, it would have just gone to the bottom there.
Yeah, it's not like it's a card he could have drawn, so.
But important to know. Especially when there's cards that can summon it back from the graveyard as well. Looks
like while Judge Call's in progress. Going to take some time to read all the cards here. Oh, okay.
So this will come back in my end. Oh no, you banished it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Soul Sweeper. Soul Sweeper banished it so hard it went all the way to the bottom of the deck, never to be seen again. So now he's going to link into maybe the Anguish.
Yeah.
Yep.
You do have to clear the Gigantic, because unfortunately just leaving Rage on the field wouldn't have been enough. Dinh had first priority in main phase, would have been able to activate Gigantic. Even if you do try to link with one of those monsters, Gigantic can detach from any monster. So
So he's going to link the Soul Sweeper away for, you're right, SP Little Knight just directly into it right away.
interesting. Instead of just going for another Rage, it's surprising. Because
Maybe he's out of Rage, he's used 2, he might only play 2.
it's just been the same one from the grave this whole time, hasn't it? So
It might have been.
yeah.
No, it's yours. It's yours.
All right, finally going into the next game, Michael able to pull it out, really showing why Unchained was strong into this matchup before because of just how much follow-up it has.
I mean, that was a good one, too. Like, both players using every card to their name and needing to top deck both times. Like, it was an excellent game. And the heart of the card just came through for both. I mean, there was 2 turns in a row there for Mike. He had to draw that Fiendish Rhino Warrior, which was huge, into that Tour Guide, which is probably the best draw in his deck. I mean, on the other side, Dinh had to use all of his cards to even be able to come back into the game. Excellent game.
Yeah, absolutely. Really showing just how both these decks were built. Dinh obviously knew this was a matchup that he had to be prepared for. Probably not the ideal matchup because a lot of these decks aren't trying to go for immediate follow-up, or like they're not putting up enough pressure where you're not able to block the game shot, but that's just what Unchained's best at. It's so sticky. It just keeps itself on the field and just tries to survive to make it to the next turn. And it's like, its board presence turn 1 isn't bad either. It's not like it's doing nothing. It's giving you a solid amount of interruptions while also maintaining a really strong advantage, and then going into the next turn, its turn 2 is the strongest turn that it has. So that's really what kept it as probably the best deck of the previous format before Age of Overlord, and now it's really showing why it's still strong to this day.
Yeah, it really is, especially in the right hands. It can be a hard deck to beat for sure. And but Dinh is one of the players that will be able, I think, to overcome that. But yeah, I think with his deck, you mentioned the matchup just isn't great. Like, evenly matched is really good against a lot of decks. Unchained is one of the decks that can really play around it, and they always just have one card to like really help. They don't really build huge boards, as you mentioned. It's just the little interruptions that lead into a lot of interruptions with a couple cards in there. I mean, you cannot downplay the significance of SP Little Knight being added into this Unchained deck. It really has given it taken it to the next level of a deck that was already being used by a ton of players going into this format. And even though there's so many other like cards to check out from Age of Overlord, SP Little Knight, it really takes every deck and just makes it better.
Yeah, Rage is just a lot larger of a swing now than it ever was before. And I think like Caesar was the main push previously, right? To the point that you can almost forgo Rage. Well, you just get it from Chamber almost every time. But now it's just both of these cards are so threatening. And Little Knight, along with Caesar and just how the deck functions, is so strong at keeping you alive. You're just going to survive, you get some resources back, and you're just starting your next turn with everything already set up for you. Will Dinh actually be able to go second again?
I don't know. Yeah, I imagine he probably has some side deck options for going first. Like, that's what I'd probably... I mean, if your whole deck's about going second, you're going to side cards for going first. Whether your opponent's going to try and make you go first, potentially, if you win game 1, or if you just decide, oh, in this matchup, I need to go first, so I'm going to go to my side deck and try my best and change my strategy before I go into it. You know, they used to call it like a transformation side deck, where you use all 15 cards to kind of swap the strategy of your deck while keeping, like, the intent to win the same. But it used to be one of my favorite kind of decks to play, and it's cool seeing it in modern Yu-Gi-Oh as well.
I wonder like how much of a difference it's going to make. Michael was already kind of playing around, just keeping resources close to his chest, just knowing that his opponent chose second, so it was going to be something dangerous. But now he has full knowledge, right? He knows exactly what Dinh's up to. I wonder if anything changes here in game 2.
We're going to have to find it out as it's time to duel here at game number 2, round 3 of YCS Indy. And it looks like Dinh is going to go first this time.
Main phase?
Oh, yep, yeah, absolutely. I wasn't sure for a moment there, but yeah.
Fusion.
And that's what I was talking about. Like,
Fusion, Millennium Eyes.
I'm not sure if anything had really changed, but I always considered this a bad matchup for his strategy. And if you're forced to change your entire strategy and go first pro side, then that has to be true.
He was really close to getting there in game 1, but he's starting off game 2 pretty strong. It's instant fusion into Millennium Eyes trick. He's trying to play around cards like Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, anything that would activate and go to the graveyard that you can chain and use as effect to equip it. Then you'll be able to negate that effect.
Yeah, pseudo call by the grave here.
Essentially. And then Spright Starter is going to follow up for Spright Blue. So he's already taken like 2,100 points of damage. And now he's going to blue as Jet. Jet is going to add a Spright spell. Or trap. Since he did go first this game, and Spright double cross makes an appearance in this game.
Double cross.
Makes sense, likely sided in at this point.
Does he have Droll? Millennium Eyes restricted to be a card to play around Droll if he wants to stop it, but it doesn't look like there's any Droll in Lockbird.
I imagine you wouldn't just give up the card for no reason, right? Like, I wonder if like Droll is even a card you put in against Spright. Like,
usually not, I would feel like.
Sprite's such an interesting deck to play against because usually those interruptions from the hand aren't that strong against it historically. There's just a lot of favorable trades for the Spright deck, unless you hit it with multiple.
Very true. Oh, it looks like he's going for Ibly.
Ibly lock.
So now he's going to be able to link away Millennium Eyes Restricted Ibly, Sprint. He's going to be able to chain block it with Ibly's effect to summon Ibly to Michael's side of the field.
Yep, already resolving the gigantic Spright, so not going to be any chance of a Bystial here to protect him.
Yep. And that Ibly's going to lock him out of his extra deck unless he's able to link it away.
Which, I mean, Unchained's pretty good at that, but...
Not bad. So he's going to send Angler with Sprint to summon 2 Beavers, and now he's going to overlay Spright Sprint and the Beaver
into another gigantic.
In defense mode.
Just trying to have as many bodies on the field so that Double Cross has more things to attach to. So leaving a 1600 body can be pretty easy to get over, right?
Yeah, do you think he's just looking to like hit the normal summons? Like, oh, he's going to normal summon, I'm going to double cross, attach the material, and hope that just ends his turn?
Maybe.
Stand by mid. Tribute summon.
Oh no, does he have Link Haribo?
No.
Oh, he tribute summon. I thought he was just going to link it away for Link Haribo.
Open the Shavara, or the Shayama too, not the one you normally want to see in the hand.
Sometimes it's not so bad, though.
It's pretty strong here, because now you just get to activate its effect, force out one of these. Okay, yeah. You're going to have to use one of them right now, because Shayama does not target the spell and trap that it destroys.
Chain target.
And that is perfect, because Double Cross does target. And this is perfect, because now that Shayama can go after the set here. Normal summons used up, but, like, I wonder how many interruptions Dinh still has at this point. Look, he's, like, shaking his head.
Yeah, things are looking good for Michael. Oh, and
it was wailing.
So
he still has access to both of the other trap cards this turn. Could be relevant.
I think I'm going to summon.
This is a good hand for Michael.
I mean, like, not actually.
Well, in this exact situation, yeah. Like, if you look on paper, no, it doesn't look great. But for the way it plays into this matchup, it's like every card has been perfect for him.
He might even just try to do like a Caesar Zeus line and just try to clear up here. But I mean, if he just sees the lethal line, I might as well go for it. Oh, and he's summoning the Abominable here. Just trying to clear up the last spell and trap. Okay, giving up an infinite permanence, which I wonder if he had that the whole time and he just didn't care about the field that he was making, or he maybe just drew it for turn. Probably.
I'm sure he had. There's no way. There's no way he had to draw it for turn.
Yeah. Okay. So you see the tactics that you assume at that point. There's not much in Dinh's hand to like even do anything. Oh, he already has contract in hand as well.
That's going to let him get the DDD Vice King Requiem.
So this is really funny. If at any point Caesar gets to activate effect, he will just have 2 DDD monsters on the field. You get to use the secret bonus effect of both of them getting pumped up.
Ooh, I love those hidden effects.
Attempt to summon by popping.
Here comes the Vice King and destroy the Dark Contract, special into the field. So now he can go for Deus Machina X.
Yep, only play that he currently has available to him until he does so, because locked into DDDs while he's on the field. Now Machina X is available, not able to use its primary effect. Oh, he's going after his own card. Oh, it's Abomination's Prison.
And that's going to be able to special summon an Unchained monster from the deck.
2 of the not so like prominently destroyed cards to trigger their effects. So still, again, having both traps, not even making a Yama yet.
I bet he will here, though. And looks like here comes Unchained Soul Lord of Yama.
Yeah, now he just gets to move really freely here.
The Shavara sent to the graveyard, so he's going to be able to set an Unchained trap. He's going to set Chamber, and now Yama's going to add an Unchained monster from the graveyard or deck to the hand.
Probably a Ruha? Yeah.
I still can't get over how good those Master Duel sleeves look. The white ones are so nice.
They might be going to the graveyard real soon.
A couple of them will be.
Chamber.
Summon a Ruha. Chamber's going to summon another Unchained monster from the deck.
69, right?
59.
59?
Yep, well, he did take a lot of damage already.
2100, 21 on his first turn.
Oh, we might be seeing some really sick battle phase tricks here. It looks like he's going for Akea. He's going to try
Yeah,
to...
that's not David.
Like,
Sorry, Ikea.
yeah.
I'm just calculating in my head 1 second. 1, 2.
So the thing is, that gigantic sprite over in the far corner of there is pretty big. Are any of the monsters boosting up? Because Machinex is just 3,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he might have to go for Anguish here just to get rid of it.
I think that would be enough. Yeah, if he goes for Anguish, then links them away. Yeah, that does look like what he's going for. It's a Link 2 plus a monster, so that's going to be a Link 3 or a Link 2.
Anguish into Abomination is probably just good here.
Yep, and there's Anguish. That lets him link with one of his opponent's special summon monsters.
Perfect, yep. I imagine you go into Abomination here, you get to attack over one, destroy the other, triggers...
This looks like game.
Attack with Rickhead.
Yep, that's going to trigger Abomination.
Yep.
Tie for game.
Attack for 3,000.
Yep.
Attack for 3,000.
Yep.
Good game,
Yep,
man.
and that's
GG.
it. What a game.
Nothing
Both
you
played
can do
really
about
well
it.
there, but yeah, Michael just using all of his cards going second there, but playing it perfectly, playing it well, and at a really like fast pace. So you know that he was prepared for this tournament, and it's just such a night and day difference when you like watch players that are really prepared, know all their matchups, and ready to go versus like someone's just not as prepared. But it was such an epic match, and it was close there. But Michael is going to end up walking away from it. And Dinh, all the way from Germany, he's down but not out. He was started off 2-0, one loss. He's still going to be able to win, but Michael is our winner, and he played it well and deserves this W.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about, man. Like, Unchained has to be the worst match for Spright because Spright just can't kill it. Like, it has such a hard time getting rid of every single interruption that deck has. It has so many ways to play through everything. It's one of the most flexible decks. Really, the only way you can deal with Unchained is to overwhelm it. So its biggest fears are the big fusion decks, right? Tearlament, Branded Chimera, just actual branded fusion in like a regular Despia deck. That's probably its worst matchup by far. Not super popular at the tournament. Like, I mean, okay, Tearlament is. Tearlament is definitely popular, but you can side for it, you can accommodate for it. Like, that's probably the easier one to like go for because you just can't deal with the Mirror Jade, but you can kind of deal with like all the other targeting effects. But I think this is a matchup that Unchained was really looking for.
Yeah, you're